Okay, how to draw a head. I'm going to go through my process of drawing heads. I might do like a little series of these guys just quickly. I thought that would be kind of cool to do. I'm not really a teacher though, so I'm going to wing it for as much as I can, but like yeah, trying to verbalize my process of doing things is hard, and I'm not fully where I want to be, so that's also a thing to take into consideration. But now, of course, if you're a beginner, you might not be capable of drawing a perfect circle. If you want to really start at the fundamentals, I would suggest like really going to now I'm skipping probably a bunch of steps that you should know here, but what I would say is learn to draw lines first, making sure that they're straight and that you know how to properly draw a circle. Once you know, it's going to be a lot easier for you to understand what you're doing. And so, okay. I'm drawing here a head. I am trying to deconstruct how I'm doing this currently. This is a one-sided view. There might be some errors here, I have no clue, but like this is here and this is, yeah, there's like this chin part here should be a little bit more over here. But to say, you know, if you want to learn how to draw a head, for example, you could start with one in frontal, draw a circle for because a head is an egg shape, and then make it into an egg shape. But of course head is not an egg, although there are people who have more egg shape like faces. Using straight lines here will influence you and make sure that you're like doing it. And then you can erase here. The straight lines are to indicate like the jawbone, not necessarily the bones. The bones usually you have to draw skin on top of the bones, which is a value judgment that you do when you kind of like understand what you're doing. Eyes. I'll draw an eye. An eye is not very hard to draw. It's one of the basic concepts. Is usually what you see with people who just learn to start drawing. I did that a lot when I started drawing eyes everywhere, eyes. It's been so long. There's a lot of different styles of eyes, so that you can manage. I haven't drawn any eyes in a while, so it's a little bit clunky here. There's like going to be, this is going to be like this. This is going to be three-dimensional, and then it has so like this. This is more of the part right above it, and then you would have like an eyebrow here. It's like this. I'm mainly blocking things out. I believe this is something you would have to learn as you progress. Seeing the 3D that's maybe something hard to do if you're an absolute beginner. I'll draw a mouth here. Now, of course, if I look at what I'm drawing now, I can tell that I'm already like into more style. It's not necessarily stylized, but like you can tell that I know where to put shapes and where not to put shapes in order to indicate, you know, line width in order to indicate like shadow parts or part that would be more or less visible dependent on of course lighting. A nose, people have noses, which the eye is here, the eye is here right above the jawbone. And then of course again, like here, there's going to be a eyebrow, a stylized one here up. Oh, foreheads are larger. Jaw, now I have to see here, there's going to be a mouth, because here, you know, you have the jawbone is somewhere like here, the eye socket, the jawbone, and then you have the nose part here. There's going to be a hole here that then has the extension. Maybe I could probably make this one a little bit more towards the top, or maybe it would be easier if I just cut this one out here and position it a little bit higher. See, and then this one is probably, oh no, is maybe like a tiny bit up, more up. Yes, because the structure of the bones would be here. Here is like of course you'll have to, I'll maybe draw a little bit of a skull in just a second, but here the jawbone again up, and this is the cheekbone, not the jawbone. Just a quick skull is like this, and this. There's here like a furrow here, and then it would have like this is the part of where the teeth would be sitting in. So I'll draw quickly. I'm not going to do that in detail, but this would be teeth, here would be teeth, and then the jawbone would be somewhere like over here. And eye sockets, and the nose part with eyebrow things. This probably could have, it's a pretty large jaw here now, but it could have probably been a little bit more towards the top. I don't draw a lot of these here. And then here would be the neck bones that would go, and then, you know, having the clavicle there, having it all super great. Let's see, what else could I say about the ear? The ear is like a pretty simple shape. Well, it's probably one that takes a while to learn. Some viewing is very much necessary to learn the shape, but it's just a lobe. Now I'm thinking, and how far am I going to go into this one? Maybe hair is probably something not that you should be concerned with immediately. Hair is just something, is just a bunch of lines and weaving on top of it, of the face, the skull, everything else, and then yes, yeah, maybe a female this time. Or more of a female figure type. I find it easiest to draw female heads by just the lashes. Usually give it away, and of course the flowy hair, but men can have flowy hair as well. So the lashes are, and the eyebrows are usually a little bit more, they aren't necessarily tinier, but like more, I don't know if there's, you know, there's always like exceptions. Women usually have a different eyebrows, but like it's sometimes different, you know, in a sense that the men, and you know, men usually have thicker furrows, but when women have thicker furrows, they are usually smoother, because some, not of course not all women go to you know, it's more acceptable for women to go to beauty parlors that like trim women's eyelashes and eyebrows and whatever. So that happens a lot more often. I've been mainly drawing in one side. Of course, a face has many sides. You can always indicate. The easiest way to indicate 3 dimensions is by just wrapping a line around. And now, of course, if you're like a little less of a beginner, it's probably easier for you. But like this, and then you always have to think always, of course, if we're just in 3 dimensions, like the ear is more behind than like the nose, so it's definitely going to, you'll have to draw it more like towards here. Now I am thinking already, like if you're not trained into looking into 3D, it might be hard to you because you'll be seeing the ear is like just next to this part, while I'd like to. I'm pretty sure. Of course, if you're looking at this, you'll notice that it's 3-dimensional. But if you're not, I am trained to see that, or I've at least trained myself to see this. What happens as you progress is like, if at first you'll be drawing and your drawings will it will be difficult for me to draw like that, but like you'll try to draw, you'll usually end up like doing a 3/4 view is a lot harder than doing a frontal one, because the frontal one is actually kind of like just 2-dimensional. There's really no, it's just flat and it's just things that are like stacked here, and so it'll always be at first when you're starting out is like here is like that, right next to the other part. Oh jeez, I'm on the layer. Oh yeah, then I can just, doesn't matter, I can just use whiten. What else is there to say? Draw. I might want to. I'll draw a couple of more faces. I haven't been practicing, so I definitely should. So you can see how I go about drawing my faces. How far are we in? 13 minutes in. Okay, I'll draw some. As you can see, of course, what I was saying, like behind, like you'll have to take notice that the neck is behind the head and beneath it as well, and then protrudes towards the front, and then here. Of course, if you're just a beginner, this is going to be pretty hard for you to all comprehend at once, but if it's best that you've seen it. Once you've seen it, it's pretty easy. Now I am drawing where the camera is at right now, but it doesn't matter. If you're looking here, eyes up, you have to make sure that like we which at first again you'll be thinking in 2 dimensions, so you'll draw the eye out too much and not take notice of how much of your depth perception is likely going to be a lot more in the range of you might not notice people that just start out doing something, don't know how bad they are until a couple years later, when they're acquainted enough with seeing other people do it and seeing themselves do it. Now there are those exceptions of people that like start out being good copiers. I know a lot of those, or have seen those that just copy what they see, and they usually end up like crap. They don't progress, not always, of course. Some start to learn, but like don't copy things, or you can go and learn from reference, but like the best thing I think you can do is like I draw from my imagination. I don't look at anything. I don't really feel like I need to look at anything. Now, of course, my work isn't perfect. But if I then would use a reference, if I would be using reference, of course, it's going to look a lot better, and a lot more disciplined, and a lot more like a good drawing than someone who doesn't do this, because they don't I can draw the anatomy because I fundamentally understand the anatomy, and I know what I am looking for and how things work, because I can see how those things work inside of my mind. My mind has like structures of how things look, and simplifications of how things look, and I know from so many references that I've seen throughout my life, that I know that I can, you know, safely say that looking at something is no longer necessary. Or I have I started. And it's not that I've never used references. I've taken like anatomy classes, figure drawing classes, and models, and whatever. Yeah, the visual library. I think if you would like to know more about visual libraries, I think you'd be best at looking at some Feng Shui. He has a lot of really good videos on it. He also runs a school, but so that's not. I don't want to. I don't know if he has some sort of. I don't think he has a copyright on that. I think that's a pretty standard thing to say in the industry, or in the YouTube community, or in just the artist community, people thingy. In general, they all talk about like the fundamentals, and the that's where you start. Or this is maybe a little bit more intermediate to advanced. Although I did draw some mistakes here that I don't like. Faces, is there something else? I need to, if I look at my work now, I maybe should learn more about faces. Because you can go into like a lot of detail, or being pretty simplified, like really drawing out the chin bones, and getting those eyes to pop, and then of course shading is also a different beast, which is why am I not drawing? Okay. Up, eyes, nose, eyes, and then furrows. It's always the same stuff. Once you know you know, strong jaw here, big jaw. There's like chin here, eye sockets here, where the eye is inside, and then there's a flesh over it, the skin, here, and there's like nose, the sides here. Ta-da! Like I said here, I was just saying you can go more detailed, more drawing out more of that structure of the bones, taking into account the skin and how much fat there should be, fatty deposits like the muscles of the face that are like here, they're all running through everywhere here. Of course, the more lines you draw to indicate a certain part, the more detailed it will look. And then yeah, hair isn't like, I had a lot of difficulties drawing hair at first, because you're like, of course, focusing mainly on the face. Like, what does hair matter if you're just learning anatomy? Hair is like something that just comes on top of everything else. Now you should learn other things as well. That would be very good, because otherwise you're just gonna be drawing naked people. I'll draw a little torso here. I'm not going to explain that too much now, because I'm going to, I'll let it be for faces currently, but I just felt like I feel like it. Okay, this is good for me for now. I'll get this one up. This was just something I just popped into my mind that I could do this, so I'll make this one a little bigger. Maybe pop this one into the corner more, and make sure maybe all what? Why are you? Come on. Okay. Okay, great. That's it for now. I'll take a screenshot of this one, and then I'll see you next time.